Once upon a time, in a lost part of the world, in caves that hid their secrets from human eyes for many years, there lived a terrifying and terribly thirsty monster djinn. His name on hearing could cause panic among those who heard about his sinister deeds. He was a Covbur reaper, or just a Covbur. Covbur, the embodiment of evil and horror, was the ultimate fate for those who dared to ask him. He always offered representatives of humanity the fulfillment of 3 desires. But the sinister trap was that the greedy people who turned to him always craved only gold and wealth. Admired by the multitude of shiny coins, they were ready to sacrifice anything, even the most precious, to quench their thirst for profit. When the Covbur fulfilled this wish, he did it with such dexterity that it seemed he was bringing them unprecedented wealth and abundance. But after the fulfillment of the last wish, he attacked them with hatred, causing merciless animal horror. Because of his sinister aura that killed the ground around his case, everyone who had the temerity to get close felt fear in their hearts. Soon they realized that they were the very victim of their greed, condemned to remain forever in the power of the holster. They were chicks in his back, and he was a criminal thinking to swallow the whole and get pretty full. Their screams turned into high-pitched screams. Their crying pierced the hearts of the townspeople. Their complaints became signs of caution for those who were still thinking of making a request to the Covbur. People in the village discussed stories about him with a shudder. They knew that only the most desperate and stupid dared to find out the history or fiction of the frightening stories associated with the Covbur. One day, a young merchant, traveling around the village, heard about these legends. He, who had long been drowned in his own greed, began to think about what he could wish for if he turned to Covbur. He could get rich and achieve anything he could imagine. He never believed in legends about jinns and otherworldly creatures, but his thirst for wealth pushed him to the idea of fulfilling 3 desires. Knowing about the danger, he decided to pay a visit to the caves of Covbur. These are all ridiculous legends, he thought. I just want to fulfill my desires, that's all. Thus, a young merchant named Valerian set out on his way to the caves of Covbur, filled with the thought of fame and fortune. All the warnings and the sense of caution in his heart melted away before his own thirst. The fear in Valerian's heart was forgotten as he approached the gloomy caves of Covbur. Covbur, sitting in the very shadow of the cave blockage, met him with a sly grin. "Hello, young man," he hissed. "Ready to fulfill your 3 wishes? What are you up to?" Valerian, full of euphoria from anticipation, asked his wishes, which Covbur deftly fulfilled. Having forced Valerian to dream about his wealth and success, Covbur took advantage of a moment of weakness. While Valerian was lost in his fantasies, Covbur was already ready to grab him, letting out an ominous roar that sounded to him like a victory scream. The extreme power of greed that Valerian experienced shattered the aura of protection he possessed. The Covbur attacked him relentlessly, and there was something nasty in his voice as he prepared to tear Valerian apart. "You are my prey," the Covbur proclaimed with a menacing roar. "You're a fool for daring to come to me with your crazy desires, and now you're going to pay for it." Valerian realized his mistake when it was too late to do anything. He was caught in the claws of a Covbur, and he knew that his end had come now. His screams rang through the surroundings like a final exclamation of despair. His hopes of wealth and success turned to dust, and his greed turned into his death. This random episode was not the first and probably not the last. People's greed, their blind faith in initial success and development, continue to push them to the holster. And the Covbur, in turn, ruthlessly destroys them, reminding them that greed often turns into their own defeat. The legends of the Covbur live in the hearts of people, conveying the true lessons of a fierce, mysterious monster that continues to terrify and terrorize anyone who dares to summon it.